Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Linda from lindaspapercraft.co.uk and we are in December 2025 and we're on week 3 of our Friendly Foliage bundle, which is an online exclusive from Stampin' Up, and I'm using the die combination in a third way today. As you can tell, I really do like this. So, and I'm also using textured notes dies. Now I've already die cut them out for you in your kit, but if you've not bought the kit and you want to do this, it is the first from the middle and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th with the double line from the outside. So the first is for the sentiment and the 5th one is for your centerpiece. Okay, and the paper I've used is from Mixed Media Florals. So I'll pop that to one side and let's get going. So this time I'm using Garden Green. Misty Moonlight would work. Any of the greens. I think Pretty Peacock might work quite well. Oh, I've got a class packed, so it's not here. So I can't show you Pretty Peacock. Right, so I'll pop those to one side because I've got everything out. And in your kit, all the measurements are down below in the description. So you've got your 2 die cut pieces, and then you've got a thick basic white card base, and then this piece is 6.5 by 10 centimeters, and it's going to go behind your stamping. So, and then your envelope. All right, so we'll pop those to one side and let's sort our stamping out. So let's get the sentiment done first. If I can find it, and if I can find my ink. Right, so still got some ink on my block from the last video. I do all my videos at once and then schedule them to come out once a week because I don't always know where I am or where I'm going to be at 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning. So right, okay, so again we're going, and I haven't got, there we go, so I'm going to stick it on the back of here just so I can see the edges of my label so that I can stamp it straight enough. So, and then I'm going to use my stamping platform to stamp the main body of the stamp. Now I've stuck my stamp on the front of it because I want to show you how I've lined it up. Right, so let's take that off there and pop this in our stamping platform. So as it's a photopolymer, as virtually, well, Stampin' Up are actually discontinuing rubber stamps. So there's going to be more and more photopolymers. So, and I am just going to position that. So you want it sort of in the middle. Okay, like that. And I am going to just pick that up. And ink, there it is. Not a good idea to have the example underneath there where you can just get ink everywhere. So I'll just ink that up in the Garden Green, and I can see I've missed the top leaf there. Now with it using a stamping platform you can come back, but if you're not using a stamping platform then you need to make sure the whole stamp is inked because it can be quite hard. I was at my friend's class the other day and I missed off one tiny weeny bit of the stamp. I've not inked it properly. Right. Okay, so on we go. There we go. Let's just wipe this off. Put it to one side. Okay, so take that. So that just needs stamping once this time because I've managed to get ink everywhere, but if you've got any gaps or anything, you'll stamp it again. Okay, and now I'm going to get my die. Look at this. Naughty lady, not cleaning out her die properly. Oop, wrong side. There we go. And so I'm just going to cut out the middle this time. So I'm using last week's die tape. And again, just lining up all my leaves. And if you don't assume, because one leaf is lined up, they all are, you do need to line up in sort of 2 or 3 different spots. Let's see, are we happy? Maybe slightly up. Oof. There we go. Just going to look at it straight on. Nope, not happy with that. You could probably see it from the camera, but it was way off. So let's try again, but actually looking straight at it. Talk amongst yourselves. It's well worth to get the best effect spending a little bit of time just fiddling with this to get where you want it. Right, so I'm going to hold that there. Yeah, and then it promptly moved. Right. And whenever you look at it, look at it straight on, because if I look at it down there, I can see white, and I can see white up there. So just look at it straight on to get it properly in place. There we go. So fasten that down and get my mini cutter out. There we go. And I am just going to pop it at a slight angle. So some of these mini cut and embosses are a little bit tight, so I'm actually using the embossing plate rather than the cutting plate, because mine's quite tight. I can still use the embossing plate to emboss, but it cuts better with the embossing plate, the grey one rather than the white one. Okay, and to get rid of these, the best thing I find is another plate. You can just go along and just get rid of everything into your bin. Ta-da! Okay. I think somebody's tried to use that as a cutting plate more than once looking at this. I do use it in my classes, so that's, yeah, quite a few times looking at that. So I might have to treat myself to another base plate. Right. Okay. And I'm just going to pop this off. And there we go. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So, oh, no, popping them on my light. And I'm just going to punch out or pick out. It's a good idea to do this before you put your die away, because you don't want to find you've got to clean your die before you start. So that's done. That can go in the bin. Right, so what I'm going to do now is flip it over and put dimensionals on the back of this. And then I'm going to stick this on the dimensionals so that it will be stood away from the blue, but you'll be able to see it. Okay, so dimensionals, I had them a second ago. Here they are. I've hammered these, haven't I? So just going to put that across the top. Okay, this one across the bottom. I think I deserve a new. Well, let's see what I've got. I can call that. Look at that. Oh, brilliant. Let's see. So I've got the tag end of a small one here. So just scatter a few little ones just to hold up the middle. Maybe there. And then let's see. Let's put these up the sides. So So on there, there. Not done that. All the way through. On there. Then I'll just pop that one there. Okay, so happy with that. Let's take all the backing off. I think in your packs I've actually given you thick basic white, mine's thin, and so I think that's why I've put quite so many dimensionals on it. So the thick basic white's going to stand up on its own better than the thin. Okay, pop that one off and come off, come off, come off, come off. There we go. So I'm just going to stick it so you can see the flowers. And what I want to do is sort of stick it on the inside of the stitching. If you find you can see the paper around the edge, just trim it off. Oh, it's sticking to my gel nails. Okay, so there we go. So we've got our piece. So then it just remains to actually stick it to the front of the card. Just going to get my bone folder. There we are. So I am going to glue that flat. So this is going out in the 3rd week of December, so a week before Christmas when this gets released. So hopefully while you're watching this you're all sorted. I know I won't be because I'm very last minute little. Right, okay, that is shocking, Linda. It's not even close to straight. Let's just see if I can lift that off because it's wet glue. Better. There we go. So, and then I'll get well soon. I'm just going to put glue on that. It's going to slightly overhang. I put a bigger overhang on this one, and I did put a dimensional behind it, but it means it sort of dips down because you've got paper and card here. So I'm actually just going to leave it sticking out on this one. So glue, glue, glue. So you want glue by the get well and leave the soon unglued. Okay. And then I am just going to pop that in place there, just covering the bottom. There we are. Okay, how cute is that? So that's so far this month we've done 3 different ways of using these dies, and next week we're not going to use it at all, which took great self-control from myself. Right, well, take care and I shall see you all next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.